All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Paula Volinets. I teach global studies in 8th grade, and this is Sarah Darling with me, also moderating. She teaches global studies in 8th grade as well. So we will be the moderators this morning. I'm going to start with our instructions to the contestants. Welcome to the Worthington Middle School Geography Bee. The Bee is held in it used to be held in more than 10,000 schools across the country. But I don't know, I think other schools are probably still doing something like this. Now, the preliminary competition consists of 7 rounds. We will ask each of you one question from each round. You will have 15 seconds to answer, and you must start to give your answer before the time limit is up. You may interrupt the preliminary competition only twice to have either a question repeated or a word spelled. If you want us to repeat a question or to spell a word in a question, you must ask us immediately. After I finish repeating the question or spelling the word, you will have the rest of your 15 seconds in which to answer. And we're a little bit flexible on that. We don't hold it to 15 seconds, so relax. But we do want you to get started on the question as soon as possible. If you do not know the answer to the question you've been asked, you may say pass, okay? A pass will be recorded as an incorrect answer in your score. Each preliminary round will begin with the same student. Ebenezer, do you often get to be the first student with the last name of Aboda? I bet you do. Ebenezer will be our first student for each round. At the end of the 7 preliminary round, your points will be totaled. And that will help us determine who goes on to the final round. And the final round will consist of the top 10 students from the first 7 rounds. Now, this is important. Remember to listen carefully to each question and use correct geographic terminology in your answers. For example, do not use Holland as a synonym for the country of Netherlands, and do not use England for the country of the United Kingdom. Give present-day names unless a question involves history, and other names would be correct in the context of the question. As the Bee is conducted in English, wherever possible, conventional English place names are used. Shortened forms of country names are acceptable, such as the United Kingdom or Great Britain or Britain. For the long version, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. B questions follow the National Geographic Society's policy of recognizing Europe and Asia as 2 separate continents. Oceania is considered a region rather than a continent, and it will not be accepted as a correct answer for the continent of Australia. In addition, the National Geographic Society recognizes 4 oceans: Arctic, Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific. Are there questions? Okay, relax. And we will get started with round number 1.
Round 1 is called State Savvy. State Savvy and questions about the United States. You will have a choice of 2 states. You must choose which one is the correct answer. Ebenezer. Pensacola Bay, an inlet of the Gulf of Mexico, borders which state, Florida or South Carolina?
Florida.
That is correct. Tyler. The Painted Desert is located near Flagstaff in which state, North Dakota or Arizona?
Arizona.
Correct. Tobias. Which state borders Lake Erie, Nevada or Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Correct. Rustin.
Yep.
The Mojave National Preserve is located in a desert in which state, California or Mississippi?
California.
That is correct. Lily. A large section of the Ogallala Aquifer lies beneath the Great Plains in which state, Virginia or Nebraska?
Nebraska.
That is correct. Leo. Which state is drained by the Arkansas and Red Rivers, Pennsylvania or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
That is correct. Jason. Which state includes part of the Great Appalachian Valley, Tennessee or Louisiana?
Tennessee.
That is correct. Adine. Which state borders the Canadian province of Quebec, Vermont or Missouri?
Vermont.
That is correct. Donovan. Which state includes Crater Lake National Park, Kansas or Oregon?
Oregon.
That is correct. Hiabu? Hiabu. Hiabu. Casco Bay, an inlet into the Atlantic Ocean, is located in which state, Kentucky or Maine?
Maine.
That is correct. Daniel. A hurricane is more likely to make landfall in which state, Georgia or South Dakota?
Georgia.
That is correct. Brianna. The Continental Divide, also known as the Great Divide, crosses which state, Oklahoma or Wyoming?
Oklahoma.
Incorrect. Wyoming is the correct answer. Angus? Which state includes the White Sand National Monument, New Mexico or Vermont?
New Mexico.
That is correct. Where am I at? Okay. Brianna, no, I'm sorry. Joseph, thank you. Joseph, the Klondike Gold Rush National Historic Park is located in which state, Alaska or Wisconsin?
Alaska.
That is correct. Anna, Mount Jackson or Peak and Glacier National Park is located in which state, Montana or Iowa?
Montana.
That is correct. Alicia, my apologies. Which state includes part of the Cascade Range, Washington or Michigan?
Michigan.
What did she say? Michigan. Okay. That is incorrect. It is Washington. Lynn. Part of the Ozark Plateau is in what state? Missouri or Connecticut?
Connecticut.
Incorrect. Missouri is the correct answer. Fernanda. Which state borders Tennessee, Mississippi or New York?
Tennessee.
Incorrect. Mississippi is the correct answer. Magali. Magali. Which state is located in the Midwest, Oregon or Indiana?
Indiana.
That is correct. Mila? Which state has a shipping channel that connects a major port city to the Gulf of Mexico, Texas or Arizona?
Texas.
That is correct. Wendy? The Connecticut River forms the border between Vermont and what other state? Montana or New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
That is correct. Which state is part of the Mid-Atlantic region, Delaware or Tennessee?
Delaware.
That is correct. Thank you, William. Alejandro. Which state borders the Mississippi River, Arkansas or Georgia?
Arkansas?
That
No.
is correct.
Yeah, Arkansas.
That is correct. Brainer? Branier. Okay. The oyster industry has a long history of the coastal region of what state? Idaho or Connecticut?
Connecticut.
That is correct. Carter. Zion National Park and the Great Salt Lake are two major tourist attractions in what state? Arkansas or Utah?
Utah.
That is correct. Ava. The Missouri River separates Nebraska from what other state? Iowa or New Jersey?
New Jersey.
That is incorrect. It is Iowa. Johnny. Which state lies partially within the Atlantic coastal plain? North Carolina or Illinois?
Repeat.
Which state lies partially within the Atlantic coastal plain? North Carolina or Illinois?
North Carolina.
That is correct. Is it Gael? Gael. Gael. Lakes formed by glaciers dot the landscape of which state? Texas or Minnesota?
Minnesota.
That is correct.
I'm glad you got that right.
Okay.
All right, good. So you'll have to hand it back up to, down here. Okay, thank you.
You betcha.
All right. Are we picking up the kids? Do you know? Is it okay? Okay. All right, great job for the first round there, guys. Many of you got your questions correct. We're going to move on to the second round, which is on state birds. How much do you know about birds? I would have to confess I don't know a lot about birds myself. But in 2018, this was 8 years ago, National Geographic was celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Do you know there was such a thing? Which helps preserve many bird species. Every U.S. state has an official bird, and round 2 celebrates them. In this round, you will be given a clue about a bird and asked to identify which state chose it as its official bird. You will have 2 states to choose from. Good luck. All right, and I'm going to grab this. Ebenezer, first question. The western meadowlark can be seen in pastures around Dodge City. In which state that calls the meadowlark its official bird? Kansas or Hawaii?
Kansas.
That's correct. Tyler, the eastern bluebird perches on posts and in trees from Central Park to the Adirondacks. In which state that chose the bluebird as its state bird? New York or Utah?
New York.
New York is correct. Tobias, the scissor-tailed flycatcher nests in shrubs in the Great Plains, including which state that calls the flycatcher its official bird? Tennessee or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Correct. Okay. Rustin, northern mockingbirds mimic the calls of other birds in Big Bend National Park. In which state that chose the mockingbird as its official bird? Alabama or Texas?
Texas.
Texas is correct. Lily, the common loon, a territorial water bird, was chosen as the official bird of which state known as the land of 10,000 lakes? Is it Arizona or Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Very good. Leo, the purple finch can be found from the White Mountains to the Atlantic Ocean. In which state that has adopted the purple finch as its official bird? New Hampshire or Arkansas?
New Hampshire.
Correct. Jason, the nene, a species of goose, has feet that evolved to grip rough volcanic lava. The nene is the official bird of which state? Montana or Hawaii?
Montana.
No, the correct answer is Hawaii. Okay. Aideen, which state, the smallest in the United States, chose a large chicken as its state bird? Rhode Island or Maryland?
Rhode Island.
Correct. Donovan, valley quail clean their feathers by rolling in the dust. They can be spotted in the Central Valley region of which western state that chose the quail as its official bird? Louisiana or California?
California.
That is right. All right. Hiabu, the conversion of grassland to cropland decreased the habitat for the western meadowlark. This change occurred in which Midwestern state that chose the meadowlark as its state bird? North Dakota or Maine?
North Dakota.
That's right. All right. Next up is Daniel. Daniel, during the summer, the mountain bluebird can be found north of the Mojave Desert. In which state that calls the bluebird its official bird? Mississippi or Nevada?
Nevada.
That's right. Brianna, the blue hen was chosen as the official bird of which state that was the first to ratify the U.S. Constitution? Colorado or Delaware?
Delaware.
That's right. All right. Angus, the cactus wren, which nests in thorny desert plants such as the saguaro cactus, is the official bird of which state? Arizona or Connecticut?
Arizona.
That's right. Joseph, the ruffed grouse, a kind of pheasant, can be found in small trees and shrubs in the Appalachian Mountain region of which state that chose the ruffed grouse as its state bird? Alaska or Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
That is correct. Next is Anna. In the mid 20th century, a fungus killed many of the elm trees that were nesting in spots for which mid-Atlantic's state official bird? A variety of oriole, Maryland or New Mexico?
Maryland.
Maryland is right. Alicia, the ring-necked pheasant can be found in the fields and grasslands of which Great Plains state that chose the pheasant as its official bird? Mississippi or South Dakota?
South Dakota.
That is correct. Next person is Lynn. Lynn? The explorers Lewis and Clark first spotted the western meadowlark along the Great Falls of the Missouri River. In which state that calls the meadowlark its official bird? Montana or Georgia?
Montana.
That is correct. Fernanda. In the spring, hermit thrushes migrate north through Pennsylvania and New York to which state that calls the hermit thrush its state bird? Vermont or Arkansas?
Vermont.
Correct. Magali. A legend that the California gull saved the crops of Mormon settlers from insects led which state to choose the gull as its official bird? North Carolina or Utah?
Utah.
That is right. Neela. Naturalists in cities such as Springfield and Jefferson City have built birdhouses to attract the eastern bluebird, the official bird of which state? New Jersey or Missouri?
Missouri.
That's right. Wendy. The northern flicker, a variety of migratory woodpecker, is the official bird of what southern state with a mild winter climate? Alabama or Nebraska?
Nebraska.
The correct answer is Alabama. Okay, William. The greater roadrunner, which is revered by Pueblo Indians for its speed and endurance, is the official bird of which southwestern state? New Mexico or Ohio?
New Mexico.
New Mexico is correct. Alejandro. The black-capped chickadee is the official bird of Massachusetts. And which other New England state? Maine or Michigan?
Maine.
Maine is right. Branier. The white plumage of the willow ptarmigan keeps it hidden from Arctic foxes. In which state that calls the ptarmigan its state bird? Illinois or Alaska?
Alaska.
That is correct. Carter. The northern mockingbird is the official bird of which state that borders the Gulf of Mexico? Mississippi or Indiana?
Mississippi.
That's right. Eva. The berries that grow along Lake Michigan attract American robins, the official bird of Michigan. And which other Great Lakes state? South Carolina or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
That's right. Johnny. The high plains at the base of the Rocky Mountains provide breeding grounds for the lark bunting, the official bird of which state? Kentucky or Colorado?
Colorado.
That is right. And Gael, last but not least, In 2010, an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico killed hundreds of eastern brown pelicans, the official bird of which state? Louisiana or Virginia?
Virginia.
No, the correct answer is Louisiana. Okay. All right. That's the end of round 2. Good job, guys.
All right, we are on to round 3. Round 3 is forces of nature. Forces of nature. You will be asked a question about natural forces that act on the world we live in. You will be given 2 choices, and you must choose which one is the correct answer. Ebenezer. Which natural phenomena can be generated by an undersea earthquake, hurricane, or tsunami?
Tsunami.
That is correct. Tyler, what is the term for a wetland created where a river meets a larger body of water and deposits sediment? Moraine or delta?
Delta.
That is correct. Tobias, what is the term for rain-producing winds that blow over the Arabian Sea towards India for 6 months of the year? Monsoon or cold front?
Monsoon.
That is correct. Rustin, what is the process by which ice breaks off a glacier and enters the water to become an iceberg? Retreat or calving? Calving. They have an L there.
Yeah, but it's calving.
Okay, my apologies. They have an L, but it says calving. So your choices are, I'm going to repeat the question because my apologies. What is the process by which ice breaks off the glacier and enters the water to become an iceberg? Retreat or calving?
Calving.
That is correct. Lily, what kind of scientist studies the weather? Seismologist or meteorologist?
Meteorologist.
That is correct. Leo, which type of rock is created from the cooling and solidifying of magma? Igneous or sedimentary?
Igneous.
That is correct. Jason, which phenomenon is created by lightning strike that heats air and causes it to rapidly expand? Avalanche or thunder?
Thunder.
That is correct. Aideen, which type of landform protects coastal areas from tropical storms? Barrier islands or canyon?
Barrier Islands.
That is correct. Donovan, which gas absorbs ultraviolet radiation in the stratosphere but is harmful to breathe? Nitrogen or ozone?
Ozone.
That is correct. I keep saying it wrong. Thank you. Hiabu, which weather measurement is based on the air temperature and wind speed? Relative humidity or wind chill?
Wind chill.
That is correct. Daniel, what is the term for an area where 2 of the Earth's tectonic plates converge and one sinks under the other? Subduction zone or divergent boundary?
Can you repeat?
Sure. What is the term for an area where 2 of the Earth's tectonic plates converge and one sinks under the other? Subduction zone or divergent boundary?
Subduction zone.
That is correct. Brianna, what is the term for prevailing winds that helped the early explorers return to Europe from the Americas? Squall lines or westerlies?
Could you repeat?
What is the term for the prevailing winds that helped the early explorers return to Europe from Americas? Squall lines or westerlies?
Westerlies.
That is correct. Angus, what potential hazard is formed when water freezes in a cloud? Black ice or hail?
Hail.
That is correct. Joseph, what type of renewable energy is used to heat most of the country of Iceland? Geothermal or solar?
Geothermal.
That is correct. Anna, what is the term for a narrow, steep-sided inlet of a sea that is carved by a glacier? Butte or fjord?
Feud.
Incorrect. Fjord is the correct answer. Alicia, what is the term for the rise and fall in the Earth's, or excuse me, what is the term for the rise and fall of the ocean's water level that results from the gravitational pull of the moon and sun? Equinox or tide?
Tide.
That is correct. Lynn, what is the term for a crack that opens in the surface of a glacier? Caldera or crevasse?
Crevasse.
That is correct. Fernanda, what is the term for the traces of a plant or animal that have been preserved in rock? Fossil or relief?
Relief.
Incorrect. Fossil is the correct answer. Magali, what agent of erosion is primarily responsible for creating limestone caves? Water or wind?
Can you repeat?
What agent or erosion is primarily responsible for creating limestone caves? Water or wind?
Water.
That is correct. Neela, what is the term for an arid side of a mountain that is sheltered from prevailing winds? Rain shadow or wind shear?
Wind shear.
That is incorrect. It is rain shadow. Wendy, what theory explains the process by which living organisms developed and diversified from earlier forms? Osmosis or evolution?
Evolution.
That is correct. William, what is the term for the rapid movement of rock and soil down a steep slope? Atoll or landslide?
Can you repeat?
What is the term for a rapid movement of rock or soil down a steep slope? Atoll or landslide?
Landslide.
That is correct. William, right? Alejandro? What is the term for an icicle-shaped feature that hangs from the roof of a cave and was created by deposits from dripping water? Stalactite or drumlin?
Stalactite.
That is correct. Branier. What term describes the variation in average temperatures and rainfall that occurs over a period of years rather than days? Climate or weather?
Climate.
That is correct. What is the Carter, thank you. What is the term for a large tropical storm that takes place in the Caribbean region? Chinook or hurricane?
Hurricane.
That is correct. Ava, what is the term for a mixture of hot ash gas and fragmented rock that can race down the side of a volcano? Erosion or pyroclastic flow?
Erosion.
That is incorrect. It is pyroclastic flow. Johnny, what is the term for a flat area that stretches beyond the banks of a river? Continental shelf or floodplain?
Repeat.
What is the term for a flat area that stretches beyond the banks of a river? Continental shelf or floodplain?
Floodplain.
That is correct. Gael, what term describes urban areas that are warmer than the surrounding rural areas? Heat island or heat wave?
Can you repeat?
What is the term that describes the urban areas that are warmer than the surrounding rural areas? Heat island or heat wave?
Heat wave.
That is incorrect. It is heat island.
All right, we just completed round 3, and we're going to move on now to round 4. How are you guys doing? Hanging in there?
Doing
Okay.
great, guys. You are really
Yeah,
well.
they are doing really well.
Yeah, scores are awesome.
Yes, yes. Well, this is one of my favorite rounds. This one's called Weird But True. Did you know that dolphins sleep with one eye open? Round 4 features fascinating facts about the world taken from the popular National Geographic Kids book series called Weird But True. You will answer a geographic question related to the fact. The answer to each question in this round is one of the 7 continents. Okay? So the answer to each question is one of the 7 continents. And Ebenezer, we're back to you. Question number 1. A popular fast food restaurant in India sells chicken inside a container that can also charge your cell phone. Wow. It's weird, but it's true. India is located on which continent?
Asia.
That is correct. Tyler. Sociable weavers build nests that can house up to 500 birds. It's weird, but it's true. These birds live in Namibia and Botswana on which continent?
Africa.
That's right. Tobias. A giant anteater flicks its tongue in and out of its mouth up to 150 times a minute. It's weird, but it's true. Giant anteaters can be found from Guyana to Paraguay on which continent?
South America.
That's right. Rustin.
Yep.
A scientist in Mexico has developed the technology to create glow-in-the-dark sidewalks, which would be very useful. It's weird, but it's true. Mexico is located on which continent?
North America.
That is right. Lily. A hotel straddling the border of France and Switzerland lets you sleep with your head in one country and your feet in the other. It's weird, but it's true. This hotel is located near Lake Geneva on which continent?
Europe.
That's right. Leo. Most kangaroos are left-handed. This includes eastern gray kangaroos that live near the Great Dividing Range on which continent?
Australia.
That is right. Randy, is it Randy? Jason. Hi, Jason. In Taiwan, it's trendy to get your dog's fur groomed into geometric shapes. Taiwan is an island located off the coast of which continent that is crossed by the Himalaya?
Asia.
That's right. Hi, Dean. An Italian man piled 121 scoops of ice cream onto one cone. He lives in the Alps mountain range on which continent?
Europe.
Correct.
Yum. I'm just saying.
Yeah, 121. How do you do that? Donovan. Northern stargazer fish zap their predators with a jolt of electricity. These fish can be found in the shallow waters of the Chesapeake Bay between Maryland and Virginia on which continent?
North America.
Correct. Hiabu. In 2017, a 70-year-old woman ran 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. Wow. Her last race was on King George Island off the coast of which continent that includes the Larsen Ice Shelf?
Europe.
No, the correct answer is Antarctica. That is amazing that somebody did that. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We're on to Daniel. Daniel, the Great Wall of China is held together partly by sticky rice. China is located on which continent?
Asia.
Correct. Brianna. It could take more than 300 years to discover all the species of trees in the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest is located largely in Brazil on which continent?
South America.
Correct. All right. Angus. The manchineel tree is so toxic that even standing under it in rainy weather is dangerous. This tree can be found growing in the swamps of Florida's Everglades National Park. On which continent?
North America.
Correct. Joseph. Gorillas sometimes sing happy songs when they eat. Gorillas can be found in Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. On which continent?
Asia.
No, the correct answer is Africa. Africa. Alicia? Or no, Anna. Anna, you're next. There's a hedgehog cafe in Tokyo, Japan, where customers can cuddle with the prickly pets while they eat. Japan is located off the coast of which continent?
Asia.
Asia. And actually, I have to say, I went to a hedgehog cafe in March in Japan, in Tokyo. I don't know if it's the same one, but there's probably more than one. All right, is it Alicia next? Okay, Alicia. Koalas can sleep 22 hours a day. Koalas can be found in Queensland on which continent?
Europe.
No, the correct answer is Australia. Australia. Lynn. The blue color used in jeans may date back 6,000 years. Ancient fabric with indigo blue dye has been found in a pre-Columbian site in northern Peru, located on which continent?
North America.
No, South America. South America. All right, Fernanda. The U.S.-Canadian border runs through the middle of a library. This library is located northeast of Lake Ontario on which continent?
North America.
Correct. Magali. A monkey triggered a nationwide blackout after tripping a transformer on the roof of a power plant in Kenya. Imagine that. The blackout occurred northeast of Nairobi on which continent?
Africa.
Africa is correct. Neela. Whales can only taste salty foods. Minke whales consume salty foods as they swim around what continent that lies south of 60 degrees south latitude?
Antarctica.
That is correct. Let's see. Wendy is next. A prince from Saudi Arabia once brought 80 birds of prey with him on a plane. Saudi Arabia is located on the Arabian Peninsula of which continent?
Asia.
That's right. William? Leatherback turtles eat almost nothing besides jellyfish. Leatherback turtles can be found in the Tasman Sea off the coast of Sydney, located on which continent?
Africa.
The correct answer is Australia.
Oh.
Alejandro, the longest lasting lightning bolt ever recorded was nearly 8 seconds. This bolt occurred in southern France on which continent?
Europe.
Correct. Brenier, every August, people in Bolivia gather to break rocks for good luck. Bolivia is located on which continent that is crossed by the Andes Mountains?
South America.
That's right. Carter. An elephant's brain weighs more than a 2-month-old human baby. Elephants can be found in Tanzania and Congo on which continent?
Africa.
That's right. Eva. Underwater volcanoes cover more of Earth than deserts or tundras. Underwater volcanoes are found off the coast of what continent that includes Victoria Land and Marie Byrd Land?
Can you repeat?
I certainly can. Underwater volcanoes cover more of Earth than deserts or tundras. Underwater volcanoes are found off the coast of what continent that includes Victoria Land and Marie Byrd Land?
Pass. Pass.
Okay. The correct answer is Antarctica. Okay. Johnny. Divers exploring a shipwreck off the coast of Sweden found a hunk of a 340-year-old cheese inside a sealed container. Sweden is on the Scandinavian peninsula of which continent?
Europe.
Europe. Wonder if they were somebody was saving it for later? That's kind of weird. And our last person, Gael. Question number 28. A breed of wolves living on Canada's Vancouver Island can swim for miles to track prey. Vancouver Island is located in the Pacific Ocean just off the coast of which continent?
North America.
Correct. Okay, good job, guys. Going on to round number 5.
All right, round number 5, we are switching to history. It is called History Happens. Understanding places includes learning about their history. Round 5 is called History Happens and will test your knowledge of world history. You will have a choice of 2 answers, and you must choose which one is the correct answer. Ebenezer, which empire dominated the area of present-day country of Mexico before its conquest by the Spanish in the 1500s? Aztec Empire or Persian Empire?
Aztec Empire.
That is correct. Tyler, which stone wall stretched across Britain from the North Sea to the Irish Sea and guarded the northern frontier of the Roman Empire? Hadrian's Wall or the Great Wall?
Repeat.
Which stone wall stretched across Britain from the North Sea to the Irish Sea and guarded the northern frontier of the Roman Empire? Hadrian's Wall or the Great Wall?
The Great Wall.
Incorrect. Tobias, what is the term for the period between the 14th and 17th centuries when Europeans rediscovered the art and technology of ancient Greeks and Romans? Reunification or Renaissance?
Reunification.
That is incorrect. It is Renaissance. Rustin, what is the term for the fertile area around water source that the Arabs learned to farm thousands of years ago? Oasis or mirage?
Mirage.
That is incorrect. It's oasis. Lily, what leader used nonviolent civil disobedience to lead India to independence from British rule?
Gandhi.
Mohandas Gandhi or Catherine the Great?
Gandhi.
That is correct. Right. Leo, what was the system of government in the medieval Europe and Japan in which farmers paid rent to landowners? Tribalism or feudalism?
Feudalism.
That is correct. Jason, what is the term for the shift after 1750 in Europe to North America from a farming economy to one based on coal, steel, and specialized labor? Age of Discovery or Industrial Revolution?
Industrial Revolution.
That is correct. Adine, what organization was established after World War II to increase international cooperation and reduce conflicts between countries? The United Nations or the World Bank?
United Nations.
That is correct. Donovan, what is the term for early humans who relied primarily on wild foods for subsistence? Ranchers or hunter-gatherers?
Hunter-gatherers.
That is correct. Habayu, in early 1400s, what peasant girl helped lead the French to victory in battles against the English during the 100 Years' War? Joan of Arc or Cleopatra?
Cleopatra.
That is incorrect. It is Joan of Arc. Daniel, which term describes an urban areas, such as Athens in ancient Greece, that controls surrounding towns and villages? Hamlet or city-state?
Hamlet.
That is incorrect. It is city-state. Brianna, what is the term for early Egyptian writing system that used symbols to represent objects and ideas? Hieroglyphics or phonetics?
Hieroglyphics.
That is correct. Angus, what is the term for the military expeditions launched by European Christians in the Holy Land back from the Muslim control? Revolution or Crusades?
Crusades.
That is correct. Joseph, in the 19th century, who was Venezuelan military leader who helped lead several South American countries to independence from the Spanish? Karl Marx or Simón Bolívar?
Simón Bolivar.
That is correct. Anna, in the 16th century, what German monk sparked a reform movement that reshaped Christianity and medieval Europe? Brigham Young or Martin Luther?
Brigham Young.
That is incorrect. It is Martin Luther. Alicia, in the 16th century, Portuguese kings encouraged their colonists in Brazil to set up large sugarcane farms known as what? Plantations or reservations?
Plantation.
That is correct. Lynn, what is the term for the system of racial segregation that discriminated against non-whites in South Africa between 1940s and 1990s? Reconciliation or apartheid?
I forgot the answers.
Your choices were reconciliation or apartheid. reconciliation?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. It is apartheid. Okay, I'm on Fernanda. All right, Fernanda. Which is the term for a geographic region that is home to the advanced civilizations on the Yucatan Peninsula and the highlands of present-day Mexico? Mesoamerica or Silesia?
Mesoamerica.
That is correct. Magali. Which religion was founded in the 7th century in the city of Mecca, the holiest city in present-day Saudi Arabia? Islam or Buddhism?
Buddhism.
That is incorrect. It is Islam. Nyla? What is the term for a farming method of clearing a rainforest or grassland and burning the remaining vegetation? Scorched earth or slash and burn?
Slash and burn.
That is correct. Wendy, what is the name given to a political demonstrators that grew in countries in North Africa and the Middle East in 2011? Arab Spring or October Revolution?
May you repeat?
Sure. What is the name given to the political demonstrations that grew in countries in North Africa and the Middle East in 2011? Arab Spring or October Revolution?
October Revolution.
That is incorrect. It is Arab Spring. William. Which empire rose in Central Asia and was led by nomadic warriors under the rule of Genghis Khan? Mongol Empire or Macedonian Empire?
Can you repeat?
Sure. Which empire in the Central Asia and was led by a nomadic warrior under the rule of Genghis Khan? Mongol Empire or Macedonian Empire?
Macedonia Empire.
That is incorrect. Alejandro. Who was the 13th century trader from Venice who chronicled his 24-year journey by land across Asia? Marco Polo or Hernando de Soto?
Marco Polo.
That is correct. Branier. Before the invention of writing, how were stories and customs passed from generation to generation in places like India and West Africa? Smoke signals or oral history?
May you repeat?
Sure. Before the invention of writing, how were stories and customs passed from generation to generation in places like India and West Africa? Smoke signals or oral history?
Oral history.
That is correct. Carter. Which empire was founded at the end of the 13th century by Turkish Muslims and then expanded into southeastern Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa? The Roman Empire or the Ottoman Empire?
The Ottoman Empire.
That is correct. Ava. Which religion was founded in India in the 6th century BC and later spread through Southeast Asia? Judaism or Buddhism?
Buddhist.
That is correct. Johnny. What is the term for the military leaders who from the 12th and 19th centuries helped rule Japan? Samurai or lords?
Samurai.
That is correct. And Gael. What architectural style was developed in Western Europe during the Middle Ages and featured flying buttresses and pointed arches? Moorish or Gothic?
Moorish.
That is incorrect. It is Gothic.
All right, we've got 2 more rounds. This is round 6, and we're back to Ebenezer. This round is called Odd One Out. Round 6 is called Odd One Out, and you will be asked about countries around the world. You will be given a choice of 3 answers, and you must choose the one answer that does not belong. Here is an example. Which country is not crossed by the equator? Gabon, Guatemala, or Indonesia? All of you, anybody have the answer to that? Which one is it? Hiabu? Guatemala is correct. Both Gabon and Indonesia are crossed by the equator, but Guatemala is not. So you're choosing the one that's not correct. All right, Ebenezer, number 1. Which country does not border the Gulf of Guinea? Ethiopia, Benin, or Cameroon?
Cameroon.
The correct answer is Ethiopia. Tyler, which country does not have a coastline on the Arctic Ocean? Norway, United States, or Ireland?
United States.
Ireland is the correct answer. Think Alaska. It's a tricky one. Tobias, which country is not a current member of the Benelux Union? The Netherlands, Switzerland, or Belgium?
Switzerland.
You are correct. Rustin, which country is not near the cold Peru Current? Chile, Ecuador, or Brazil?
Brazil.
Correct. Lily, which country does not have a border that touches the Danube River? Romania, Slovakia, or Lithuania?
Repeat.
Which country does not have a border that touches the Danube River? Romania, Slovakia, or Lithuania?
Lithuania.
Correct. Leo, which country does not have territory in the arid Sahel region? Zambia, Chad, or Mali?
Chad.
The correct answer is Zambia. The 8th graders are studying global studies. We haven't gotten to Africa yet. Which country, number 7, Jason, which country is not a major producer of natural rubber? Malaysia, Thailand, or Yemen?
Yemen.
Correct. Aideen, which country is not located in the Pacific Ocean? Mauritius, Fiji, or Papua New Guinea?
Mauritius.
Right. Donovan, which country does not have coastline on the Black Sea? Turkey, Italy, or Ukraine?
Ukraine.
Actually, the correct answer is Italy. Yeah. Hiabu, which country does not sit along the Rio de la Plata? Bolivia, Argentina, or Uruguay?
Bolivia.
That's right. And it's Daniel, right? Which sea is not at the same latitude as the southern tip of Greenland? The Yellow Sea, Labrador Sea, or the Sea of Okhotsk? Okhotsk.
Can you repeat?
I can. Which sea is not at the same latitude as the southern tip of Greenland? Yellow Sea, Labrador Sea, or Sea of Okhotsk?
Labrador Sea.
It's actually the Yellow Sea. Brianna, which country is not crossed by the Tropic of Capricorn? Australia, Iran, or Botswana?
Australia.
The correct answer is Iran. Angus, which country is not a former Portuguese colony? Mozambique, Singapore, or Brazil?
Mozambique.
The correct answer is Singapore. Joseph, which country is not covered by large areas of grassland? Argentina, Kenya, or Vietnam?
Kenya?
Vietnam is the correct answer. So who are we? Anna, thank you. Which country is not due south of the Ural Mountains? Turkmenistan, Iran, or Bulgaria?
Turkmenistan.
Bulgaria is the correct answer. And I've lost my place here. Alicia, thank you. Which country is not landlocked? Belarus, Latvia, or Macedonia?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. Which country is not landlocked? Belarus, Latvia, or Macedonia?
Latvia.
That is correct. Lynn, thank you. Which country is not located on a peninsula? Norway, South Korea, or Namibia?
South Korea.
Namibia is not on a peninsula. I've lost my place here. Thank you. Fernanda, you're next. Which country is not traversed by East Africa's Great Rift Valley? Tanzania, Ghana, or Uganda?
Ghana.
Ghana is correct. And Magali. Which country does not have French as its official language? Belgium, the Philippines, or Senegal?
The Philippines.
Philippines is correct. Neela. Which country does not border the Mediterranean Sea? Greece, France, or Serbia?
France.
Serbia is the correct answer. Wendy. Which country is not located in the Caribbean Sea? Samoa, Jamaica, or Grenada?
Samoa.
Samoa is correct. Okay, William, are you up next?
Yes.
Okay. Which country is not considered to be a modern-day city-state? Monaco, Singapore, or Guyana?
Can you repeat it?
Sure. Which country is not considered to be a modern-day city-state? Monaco, Singapore, or Guyana?
Guyana.
Guyana is correct. Alejandro. Which country does not share a border with Guatemala? El Salvador, Panama, or Belize?
Can you repeat?
Uh-huh. Which country does not share a border with Guatemala? El Salvador, Panama, or Belize?
Panama?
Panama is correct. Branier. Which country does not share a border with the Democratic Republic of the Congo? Zambia, South Sudan, or Somalia?
Somalia.
That is right. Carter. Which country is not a former Soviet republic? Kazakhstan, Pakistan, or Ukraine?
Pakistan.
Correct. Eva. Which country does not border Lake Victoria? Gabon, Uganda, or Tanzania?
Can you repeat?
Uh-huh. Which country does not border Lake Victoria? Gabon, Uganda, or Tanzania?
Tanzania.
No, the correct answer is Gabon. Johnny, which country is not in the tropics? Eritrea, Azerbaijan, or Suriname?
Repeat.
Which country is not in the tropics? Eritrea, Azerbaijan, or Suriname?
Suriname.
The correct answer is Azerbaijan. And Gael, which country does not experience frequent typhoons? Japan, Vietnam, or Nepal?
Nepal.
That is correct.
Woo! Give yourself
Right.
credit, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, they're meant to get harder, okay? So do not beat yourself up and do not give up for this round because those were hard questions and they're meant to get harder. So you guys are doing a rock star job, so just hang in there, okay? Am I right, people? Did you just not go, oh my gosh, right?
They are doing really well.
Yeah. And like even some of those, and she and I teach us, it's like, okay, I got to really think about like, where's the map? Okay. Folks, we're on to cultural connection. Be a citizen of the world. Round 7 is called Cultural Connection, and you will test your knowledge of the world and its people. You'll be asked to name a country, and you will not receive a choice of answers. So you're just going to have to give me an answer, okay? All right, number one, Ebenezer, we'll start. The joropo is a traditional folk dance that can be seen in the capital city of Caracas and across the plains of which country in the Caribbean Sea?
Pass.
Okay. Correct answer was Venezuela. Tyler, K-pop is a musical genre that has increased tourism in the city of Seoul as fans seek to meet their pop star idols in which country?
South Korea.
That is correct.
Holy moly.
All right. Yes. All right. Just a reminder to the rest of you, you can't answer. You got to leave it to our contestant, please. All right, Tobias. Spanish missionaries in Southeast Asia used fiestas as tools to spread Catholicism. Fiestas still thrive in what country that includes thousands of islands and is north of Indonesia?
Pass.
Correct answer is the Philippines. Rustin. In 2017, the city of Beirut hosted the International Basketball Federation Asia Cup in what small Mediterranean country?
Yemen.
That is incorrect. It's Lebanon. Lily. In 2017, Dari language television station that is run by women for women was launched in Kabul in which Islamic country?
Pakistan.
Incorrect. It's Afghanistan. Leo. Each year, swimmers from many countries travel to Istanbul to compete in a race that crosses the Bosporus Strait in which country?
Pass.
Correct answer is Turkey. Jason. Once a colonial prison ground, Freedom Park in Lagos is now home to cultural events in which West African country?
Can you repeat?
Sure. Once a colonial prison ground, Freedom Park in Lagos is now home to cultural events in which West African country?
Niger.
That's incorrect. It's Nigeria. So they are two separate countries. Adine? On weekends, residents of the Warsaw often escape to the forest to hunt mushrooms, a treasured pastime in which country south of the Baltic Sea?
Can you repeat?
Sure. On weekends, residents of Warsaw often escape to the forest to hunt mushrooms, a treasured pastime in which country that is south of the Baltic Sea?
Pass.
Correct answer is Poland. Okay, Donovan. Spiced tea can be brought from vendors in railway stations from Calcutta to Mumbai, in which country that is the world's second largest producer of tea?
Pass.
Correct answer is India. Habayu. More than a dozen countries require their heads of state to be Muslim, including what country that is the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad and whose capital is Riyadh?
Can you repeat?
More than a dozen countries require their heads of state to be Muslim, including what country that is the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad and whose capital is Riyadh?
Saudi Arabia.
That is correct. Daniel. The Chinatown section of Havana reflects the influence of Chinese indentured workers who tilled the sugarcane fields in which Latin American country?
Can you repeat?
Sure. The Chinatown section of Havana reflects the influence of Chinese indentured workers who tilled the sugarcane fields of which Latin American country?
Colombia.
Incorrect. It is Cuba. Brianna. The World Heritage Site Meroe North of the city of Khartoum is the location of nearly 200 small pyramids in which country on Egypt's southern border?
Could you repeat?
The World Heritage Site of Meroe, north of the city of Khartoum, is located on nearly 200 small pyramids in which country on Egypt's southern border?
Tanzania.
Incorrect, it is Sudan. That was Brianna, right? Angus. In the late 1800s, French engineers began work on a canal that would link two oceans through what is present-day Central American country.
Panama.
That is correct. Joseph. Nordic countries such as Finland, Sweden, and what country that borders both have strong traditions of government transparency?
Norway.
That is correct. Anna. Thanks in part to its position in the global trading post, what small country at the tip of the Malay Peninsula is one of the most religiously diverse in the world?
Pass.
Okay, correct answer was Singapore. Alicia. The Carapalas, let me say that again. The Caparolas, a popular dance that mixes Andean and African music styles, originated in Yungus region outside of La Paz, in the largest city in which country?
Pass.
Correct answer is Bolivia. Lynn. The National Museum of Medical Science in Tehran showcases early Persian medical advances and is located in which country?
Greece.
Incorrect, it is Iran. Okay, Fernanda. Durban, a city located on the arm of the Indian Ocean, contains one of the largest concentrations of Indians in which African country?
Pass.
Correct answer is South Africa. Magali. Cemeteries are popular spots for relaxing, picnicking, and playing on the Jutland Peninsula and neighboring islands that comprise much of what Nordic country?
Can you repeat?
Sure. Cemeteries are popular spots for relaxing, picnicking, and playing on the Jutland Peninsula and neighboring islands of what comprise much of what Nordic country?
Canada.
Incorrect, it is Denmark. Nyla. For more than a century, tango dancers have poured into the streets of the working-class neighborhood of Montevideo, the capital city of what South American country?
Venezuela.
Incorrect, it's Uruguay. Wendy. The National Library in Minsk is the information and cultural center of which country that declared independence from the Soviet Union in 1991?
May you repeat?
The National Library in Minsk is the information and cultural center of which country that declared independence from the Soviet Union in 1991?
Is it Ukraine?
Incorrect, it's Belarus. William? Political and physical isolation have made what peninsular country between the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan one of the least ethnically diverse countries in the world?
May you repeat?
Political and physical isolation have made what peninsula country between the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan one of the least ethnically diverse countries in the world?
Pass.
Okay, correct answer is North Korea. Alejandro, with the purchase of Reykjavik City Card, tourists have free access to a Viking longhouse and other Nordic cultural sites in which island country?
Can you repeat?
With the purchase of a Reykjavik City Card, tourists have free access to a Viking longhouse and other Nordic cultural sites in what island country?
Iceland?
Iceland is correct. Branier. A spongy bread called injera and a stew called wat are distinctive dishes in the city of Addis Ababa and throughout the largest country in the Horn of Africa. What is that country?
Democratic Republic of the Congo.
That is incorrect. It is Ethiopia. Carter. After an earthquake destroyed much of its downtown, the city of Christchurch is using the opportunity to make a pedestrian-friendly downtown in the South Island in what country?
The Philippines.
Incorrect. It is New Zealand. Ava. The architecture of Antoni Gaudi was inspired by nature and defines the Mediterranean city of Barcelona in what country?
Can you repeat?
The architecture of Antoni Gaudi was inspired by nature and defines the Mediterranean Sea of Barcelona in which country?
Pass.
Correct answer is Spain. Johnny. What small country bordered by Germany, France, Italy, and Austria is a confederation of 26 cantons and has 4 official languages?
Repeat.
What small country bordered by Germany, France, Italy, and Austria is a confederation of 26 cantons and has 4 official languages?
Liechtenstein.
That is incorrect. It is Switzerland. And Gael. The port of Dunkirk on the Strait of Dover was rebuilt after World War II, and it is the 3rd largest port in which country?
Pass.
Okay, correct answer is France.
Okay. All right, that completes the first 7 rounds of our GOB this morning. So great job. And I will have to say, yeah, you guys, I've done this many, many years. We have done this many years, and we've had a lot of correct answers this morning, more so than I remember in years past. So congratulations to all of you for doing a fantastic job.
Hard questions.
Yes, very hard questions. Now, we're going to have to figure out who's going on to the next round. So I'll have to tally up and figure out who those 10 people or 8 people or however many those are. So you guys can stand and stretch if you need to, take a break, but be within hearing distance so we can call you back. Okay, students, come back this way, please. We have tallied up the points that you have earned in the first 7 rounds, and we're going to announce who's going on to the final round. So come on over and have a seat. Yeah, that'd be great. Ms. Darling is going to set the certificates out too, so that if any of you are not going on to the final round, you can take your certificate. And of course, you're welcome to continue watching the bee if you'd like to stay here, or if you're really wanting to get back to class, you could do that as well. It's up to you. But this is how we tallied them up. We had 1 student who got all 7 rounds correct, and that was Alejandro. Congratulations, Alejandro. That's pretty amazing. That's very amazing. Then we had, they're back on that table there. We had some students that got 6 out of 7 questions correct, which is also amazing. And those students will also be going on to the final round, and they are Lily Gaudian, Angus McLaughlin, Branier Santizo Perez, and Carter Cheering. So congratulations to them. They got 6 correct answers. Great. And then we had an amazing number of students who got 5 correct out of the 7 rounds. And so that was hard to narrow down because we can only have 10 at the most go on to the next round. We have 9 that are going on. And how we figured that out was by looking at the questions that you got right in rounds 6 and 7. Because those were the most difficult rounds. You were not given choices. For those, you had to figure it out on your own. So the students who did well in round 6 and 7 that had 5 total correct and that are going on are Tyler Bentz will be going on. Let's see, where's our next one? Yeah, is that everybody? Okay, these are stand up when I call your name. Tyler Bentz, Lily Gaudian, Ideen Gossam, Hiyabu Jeremiah, Angus McLaughlin, Joseph Mirando, Alejandro Rodriguez, Branier, and Carter. Okay, so congratulations. These are our students who are moving on to the final round. And congratulations once again to everyone who made it to the GOB. That's fantastic. It's not an easy feat. You had to do really well on that qualifying test, which was a tough test. So way to go. Congratulations.
All right, welcome to the Worthington Middle School National Geography Bee Final Competition. A huge round of applause for all the participants and those who reached today's final round. Huge round of applause. Huge round of applause. Absolutely, okay. All right. Today we will determine our school champion, and the student will have the opportunity to advance to the next level of competition.
Yeah, which is the championship round.
Today's competition will consist of a final round and a championship round. Final round questions will be reduced the number of contestants down to 2. The 2 finalists will then compete in the championship round. In the final round, a contestant is eliminated after answering 2 questions incorrectly. I will begin each series of questions with the same student. If the student has been eliminated, questioning will begin with the next available student. After each student on the stage has responded to the question in a series, those who gave their second incorrect answers will be excused from the stage unless all are eliminated. If this happens, those students who gave their second incorrect answer during that series will continue to receive final round questions until 2 finalists and a third-place winner are determined. If only 1 student remains after a series of questions, that student automatically becomes one of the finalists and will be asked no more questions. Those students who gave their second incorrect answer during that series will continue to receive questions until the second finalist and third-place winner are determined. All procedures will change for the championship round, and we'll announce the procedures at that time. Other rules remain the same for those that were followed in the preliminary round. As a reminder, you will have 15 seconds to answer, and you must start to give your answer before that time, but Ms. Voenius and I are flexible, so let's go with that. You may interrupt the final competition only twice to have either a question repeated or a word spelled. Also remember to listen carefully to each question and use the correct geographic terminology in your answer. For example, do not use Holland as a synonym for the country of the Netherlands, and do not use England for the country of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, as England is a political division. Give present-day names unless the question involves history, and other names would be the correct in context of a question. As the bee is conducted in English, whenever possible, conventional English places names are used. Shortened forms of a country name are acceptable, such as the United Kingdom, Great Britain, or Britain for the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. You will not be penalized for inaccurate pronunciation or spelling, as long as it can be determined that you know the correct answer. Bee questions follow the National Geographic Society policy of recognizing Europe and Asia as 2 continents. Oceania is considered a region rather than a continent, and it will not be accepted as a correct answer for the continent of Australia. In addition, the National Geographic Society recognizes 4 oceans: Arctic, Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific. All information was current at the time of the bee. Questions were finalized. The ruling of the judges is final. Good luck. Now, all you got to do is answer the questions. She will be in charge of like who goes when, because that's a lot to process as to like how the procedure goes. That's why she's in charge. Let's give Miss Williams a big round of applause, because without her, this would not happen. You guys have no idea how much time she puts in so that we can all have this event, which I think is super cool. So I'm grateful for her. All right, folks, we are in the final round. Be proud, be confident, hold that head high. You made it here. You are a rock star. Here we go. The first set of questions is about the United States, and will require oral answers. Each of you will answer a different question, and you will have 15 seconds to give your answer. Correct? Tyler. Okay. All right. So I've got Tyler. Trade winds often create clouds just below the summit of Haleakala crater in which state?
Hawaii.
Correct. Lily. Delaware Bay separates the state of Delaware from which state in the Northeast?
Maryland.
Do I give the answer?
You can give the answer, yeah.
Okay. Incorrect, it's New Jersey. Ideen. A densely populated region is located between the cities of Provo and Ogden in what state?
New Jersey.
Incorrect, it is Utah. Hiabu. The Catskill Mountains are bounded by the valleys of the Mohawk and Hudson Rivers in what state?
Can you repeat?
The Catskill Mountains are bounded by the valleys of the Mohawk and Hudson Rivers in which state?
Nevada.
Incorrect, it is New York. Angus. Jackson Lake, located in the Grand Teton National Park, is in what state?
Nevada.
Incorrect, it is Wyoming. Joseph. The Savannah River forms part of the border between Georgia and what other state?
Alabama.
Incorrect, it is South Carolina. Alejandro. Carson National Forest, with its ruins of adobe buildings, can be found near the Rio Grande in the city of Taos in what state?
Can you repeat?
Carson National Forest, with its ruins of adobe buildings, can be found near the Rio Grande in the city of Taos in what state?
Kansas.
Incorrect, it is New Mexico. Branier. Petroleum refining is an important industry for the economic development of the city of Tulsa in what state?
Oklahoma.
That is correct. Carter. Lake Champlain and the Green Mountains are popular recreation areas in what state that borders New York and Canada?
Pass.
Correct answer is Vermont. All of you will respond to the next question by writing your answer on the paper or the whiteboard provided for you. You will have 15 seconds to write your answer. When I call time, put your markers down and hold up your answer. When I call you, please read your answer aloud. You will not be penalized for inaccurate pronunciation or spelling, so long as it can be determined that you know the correct answer. I will give you the correct answer after all the answers have been given. Please keep your answer visible until the scores keeper has recorded the scores. I will read this question twice, so you may not ask for another repeat. Here's the question. In late August, a total solar eclipse, crossed the United States from west to east and was first visible in which state that borders California? In late August, a total solar eclipse that crossed the United States from west to east was first visible in which state that borders California? Please write your answer down. All right, time. Go ahead and turn your whiteboard forward, and then let's pass the mic. You need to read your answer aloud. Tyler? No talking, please.
Oregon.
Lily?
Oregon.
Ideen?
Oregon.
Hale?
Oregon. Oregon.
Angus?
Oregon.
Joseph?
Nevada.
Nevada.
Alejandro?
Nevada.
Branier?
Oregon.
Carter?
Oregon.
The next set of final round questions involves the map that shows the U.S. Interstate Highway. Each of you, in turn, will use this information on the map to answer your question. I will give you all a moment to look at the map. When it is your turn, please look at your map while I read the question. You will have 15 seconds to answer. Okay. So, starting with Tyler. Starting in St. Louis, Missouri, if you travel on I-70 West, you will enter another large metropolitan area before crossing into which neighboring state?
Kansas.
That is correct. Lily, starting in Seattle, Washington, if you travel on I-90 East, you will reach the panhandle of what state?
Idaho.
That is correct. Ideen, starting in San Antonio, Texas, if you travel on I-10 East, you will cross into what state before reaching Atchafalaya Basin?
Louisiana.
That is correct. Hiabu,
Yeah.
starting in Syracuse, New York. If you travel on I-81 South, you will first enter what state and a historically important coal mining region?
Pennsylvania.
That is correct. Angus, starting in Birmingham, Alabama, if you travel on I-20 East, you will cross into what state that was the southernmost of the 13 original colonies?
Mississippi.
I can see the answer. Incorrect, it is Georgia. Brandner, starting in San Francisco, California, if you travel on I-90 East, you will enter the Great Basin just before crossing into what state?
Oregon.
Incorrect, it is Nevada. Carter, starting in Minneapolis, Minnesota, if you travel on I-35 South, you will likely see rows of corn and soybeans as you first enter what state?
Iowa.
That is correct.
Angus is out.
All right. Angus and Brainerd, isn't it right?
No, Branier's only
Okay.
missed one.
All right. At this time, we need to give a fond farewell and a round of applause for Angus McLaughlin. Now we're on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
All right. Now for the next question, I need you to set the maps on the floor and pick up your whiteboards, please. Maps on the floor and the whiteboard. All right, guys, can you spread out just a little bit down there? Thank you. Give yourself some space. All right.
Maybe move to the next bench.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
All right, listen closely, please. Once again, each of you will respond to the next question by writing your answer on the whiteboard provided for you. When I call time, put down your markers and hold up your answers. As before, I won't give you the correct answer until all of you has responded. I will read the question twice, so you may not ask for another repeat. LUNK National Forest is the only tropical rainforest in the United States National Forest System. This rainforest is on which U.S.-controlled island in the Greater Antilles? LUNK National Forest is the only tropical rainforest in the United States National Forest System. This rainforest is on which U.S.-controlled island in the Greater Antilles? Time. Put your markers down and turn your whiteboard front, please. Please tell us your answer when I call your name. Tyler?
Marshall Islands.
Lily?
Philippines.
Puerto
Adine?
Rico.
What, Adine?
Puerto Rico.
Hiabu?
Puerto Rico.
Brainer?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Carter?
Okay, so they're still all in. Oh, wait, no.
All right. At this time, we need to bid farewell to Lily and give her a round of applause.
And shout out to Lily for being the last girl standing.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. The remaining final round questions will require an oral answer, so you may put your whiteboard, your marker, and your sock on the floor. Each of you will answer a different question. You will have 15 seconds to answer the question. Tyler, we'll start with you. Antietam National Battlefield, site of the major Civil War battle, is located near the Potomac River in which mid-Atlantic state?
Georgia.
Incorrect. The correct answer is Maryland. Adine? The St. Croix River defines part of Wisconsin's border with what other state?
Minnesota.
That is correct. Habayu.
Hiabu.
Hiabu, thank you. The Bighorn Mountains stretch from central Wyoming north into what neighboring state?
Colorado.
Incorrect, Montana. Branier. The Gila River flows west from New Mexico across which state before joining the Colorado River?
Can you repeat?
The Gila River flows west from the Gila River flows west from New Mexico across what state before joining the Colorado River?
Arizona.
That is correct. Carter. Cherry production is an important economic activity near the Grand Traverse Bay on what lower peninsula in which state?
Florida. Florida.
Incorrect, it is Michigan. All right, at this time, we have to bid farewell and give a round of applause for Tyler, Hiabu, and Carter. Okay?
Okay, here we go, guys. Listen up. And those of you that want to watch, please join us.
If you want to watch, come on over. We got seats over here so you
Yep, there's space over here, guys, if you want to watch from here. Otherwise, you're fine.
on the board.
You're fine there too if you want, but you're welcome to come over here, Neela and Lily. And your name again is? Yes, okay. All right. Okay, here we go. Congratulations to our two finalists, Ideen and Branier, who will now compete in the championship round. You will be competing with a clean slate. The championship round consists of 3 questions. I will ask both of you the same question at the same time, and you will have 15 seconds to write your answers on your boards. When I call time, you will put down your markers and hold up your answers. Then I will ask each of you in turn to read your answer out loud. I will wait to give the correct answer until both answers have been read. Whoever correctly answers the most questions in the set of 3 will be the school champion. As before, you will not be penalized for incorrect pronunciations or spellings as long as it can be determined that you know the correct answer. If there is a tie after the set of 3 questions, I will explain the tiebreaker procedure. I will read each question twice, so you may not ask for another repeat or spelling. Listen carefully before writing your answers. Ready? Question 1. Iowa and Missouri both share long boundaries with what other state on the Mississippi River? Iowa and Missouri both share long boundaries with what other state on the Mississippi River? Time. Hold up your answers. Okay, the correct answer is Illinois. And I didn't have you say yours, but Nebraska and Indiana are obviously not Illinois, so you're still on the same, playing field here. Still from scratch. All right, your second question. Amelia Earhart went missing in 1937 while attempting to fly around the world with her navigator, Fred Noonan. National Geographic is sponsoring an expedition to search for the crash site at Nikamura, let me get this right, Nikamaroa Island. Nikamaroa Island is part of the Kiribati, located in which ocean? Okay, I'm going to say it again. Amelia Earhart went missing in 1937 while attempting to fly around the world with her navigator, Fred Noonan. National Geographic sponsored an expedition to search for the crash site at Nikamuro Island. That island is part of the Kiribati, located in which ocean? Okay, if you have your answers, you can turn your boards around. What's your answer, Ideen?
Pacific Ocean.
Branier?
Pacific Ocean.
You are both correct. Okay. All right. Third question. The Seikon Tunnel connects the island of Hokkaido with what other Japanese island? The Seikon Tunnel connects the island of Hokkaido with what other Japanese island? Time. Okay. All right, what's your answer, Ideen?
Just the main Japanese island.
Okay, and your answer, Branier?
Nagasaki.
Good guess. The answer is Honshu, is the island. Okay? All right, we're still tied. You both have one correct. All right, now we will have a tiebreaker round using a single elimination procedure. You will continue to write an answer for each question asked. The first contestant who correctly answers a question that the other one misses will be the school champion. As before, I will read each question twice. Number 1. What is the smallest and most densely populated country on South America's Pacific coast? What is the smallest and most densely populated country on South America's Pacific coast? Okay, turn your boards around. Aideen, what's your answer?
Ecuador.
And Branya? Ecuador is correct. You're both correct. Okay? All right. Question number 2. A crater lake formed on Mount Pinatubo after a massive eruption in 1991. This volcano is located near Quezon City in what country? A crater lake formed on Mount Pinatubo after a massive eruption in 1991. This volcano is located near Quezon City in what country? Okay, turn your boards around. What do you have, Aideen?
Canada.
And Branier?
Indonesia.
The correct answer is Philippines, so you're both still in the running here. I have to say that years ago, many years ago, I had a student who was in the Philippines when Mount Pinatubo erupted. And he wrote a story about it, and he said everyone was very scared because at noon that day, the sky was completely black. They couldn't see the sun, and people thought it was the end of the world. But it was actually all the ash that had gone into the sky blocking the sun when that eruption took place in 1991. All right, here's our next question. What group of volcanic islands is only 60 miles off the southwest tip of Morocco? What group of volcanic islands is only 60 miles off the southwest tip of Morocco? You look stumped. No answer? The answer is the Canary Islands. Canary Islands. Okay, let's try this one. The Gallipoli Peninsula in the Dardanelles mark the western entrance to what small sea? The Gallipoli Peninsula and the Dardanelles mark the western entrance to what small sea? It's a really tough question.
Is it a city or country?
It's a sea. The answer is a sea. Okay, turn your boards around. Aideen?
Mediterranean Sea.
Okay, Branier? The correct answer is the Sea of Marmara. It's near Turkey. Okay, this one is not quite as tough. The largest area of land in the tropics is part of which continent? The largest area of land in the tropics is part of which continent? Okay, turn your boards around. Aideen? Okay, and Branier? The correct answer is Africa. We have our champion. Congratulations, Branier. And congratulations, Aideen, for being our runner-up. Way to go, guys.